Welcome back. So, in continuing with the Hockey 101 theme that I've been doing over the last few weeks now, I want to talk about buyouts because the buyout period starts today, runs through July 27th. Normally, it starts 48 hours after the Stanley Cup has been finished, has been awarded and hauled off, and everybody's complaining about it, or June 15th, whichever date comes first. And then it runs through June 30th, most normal seasons. Again, this year, July 27th, because everything got pushed back. So, the way that buyouts are calculated is that if a player's under the age of 26, it's 1/3 of the remaining value of the contract. So, if you sign a player to a deal you regret, you got to buy him out. If he's under the age of 26, it doesn't penalize you nearly as badly. But it's 2/3 of the value of the contract if they're 26 or older. So that's the key thing right there, is look at their age and whether or not they're going to get bought out, because we always see, well, I can't wait until the offseason when so-and-so gets bought out. And there are a lot of times where I see a name and I go, he's not getting bought out. So the penalty that you end up with is double the remaining years of the contract. The penalty can go on for a while, right? So those longer term contracts, that means that you get the years tagged on at the end. So if it's 4 years remaining, you get 4 years tagged on of penalties. And so those really long-term, big money contracts, especially if there's a big bonus, big signing bonus, you can't buy them out. Now, the player does need to clear unconditional waivers before they're bought out. So that's why you'll see, like, players been put on waivers. And you'll see players been put on unconditional waivers. That means anybody want them. No conditions here. And player can be taken by a team, but in all likelihood they pass through, because before a player reaches unconditional waivers, I guarantee that GM's been working the phones to see if anybody wants to take that contract. In some cases, a team may take a contract in order to buy it out. We may see that over the next couple of weeks. Maybe I don't have the cap space to pay the penalty for the buyout, so I trade him to Arizona, I trade him to Florida, I trade him to Ottawa, I trade him wherever. And I throw in a draft pick in order to make sure that they get the player off my case, and then if they want to buy him out, they can. Carolina with Patrick Marleau is a good example of that. Toronto didn't want to have to do the buyout, so Carolina did the buyout instead, and Carolina was enticed to do so with a first-round draft pick. So it's pricey. It is pricey for general managers to be able to move contracts that they don't want to have to buy out. So keep an eye on whether or not those kinds of trades happen over the next couple of weeks. And where Seattle fits in, because anything going on, of course, it's going to be, does Seattle pick up a guy and buy him out? Don't know. So the other thing is, if a player has a no movement clause and you want to buy him out, he can say, I'm not going on waivers. And that makes sense, because that's movement. That's basically, while he's under contract, going, does anybody want him? And a team going, yeah, we'll take him. And then his no movement clause is null and void. So he can reject it and just go straight to the buyout. And then he can sign wherever he wants and see if he can get a no movement clause again. In all likelihood, he may not be able to. That being said, once the expansion draft is done this year, watch for more no movement clauses to get picked up. No movement clauses were kind of persona non grata after what happened in 2017 with Vegas. And how many no movement clauses getting protected meant that other players might be exposed. So GMs weren't as anxious to sign no movement clauses over the last couple of years. They may become in vogue again next year. It's also a way to get that player to accept less money, where you're saying, all right, we'll stay here. We'll pay you less money than you might make somewhere else, but here's a no movement clause. We guarantee you're not getting traded. So that's a key thing right there. You're not getting traded, so a player might take less money in order to have that security, right? Signing bonuses are excluded from a buyout. It is the signing bonus that absolutely makes sure that you as a player will never get bought out, because the signing bonuses have to get paid. You can't buy those out. You can only buy out the salary. So we've seen changes in which contracts are worth buying out. So I've got some examples on the board just for examples. That's it. And I'll start with Louis Eriksson, because he's been a popular discussion in Vancouver fandom for a long time, and how he's not buyoutable. He is now. And I've thought that he's probably going to get bought out in the offseason this year, because now you can buy out that contract and actually save money. If they had bought out the contract last summer, because of the way it's structured, they would have paid more money on the cap in buying him out with that penalty than they would have if they just buried him in the minors. And so they buried the contract. It's a $4 million cap hit for this upcoming season if they buy him out. That saves them $2 million under the cap. That's more than they would save if they moved him to the AHL. And then there's $1 million tacked on for the following season, 2022-2023. It's not that bad. It's not something that really cripples the Canucks going forward. And it would bring the Louis Eriksson saga, as upsetting as I'm sure it's been to Louis Eriksson, to an end in Vancouver. So it may be beneficial for both sides if there's a buyout. Now, I've got Milan Lucic on the board because Lucic is not getting bought out. And it'll be a popular topic of discussion, but with the way the contract's structured right now, it's not happening. So if he got bought out, what it does is it means that Calgary has to have... Now, the cap is split between Calgary and Edmonton because Edmonton retains salary, right? Calgary's cap penalty for this year would be $3,572,916. Edmonton, $510,417. They save a combined $1.9 million, but they only save $416,000 combined next year. So that's why Milan Lucic's contract is not... You can buy it out right now and go, hey, Edmonton and Calgary would save $1.9 million combined, but they only save $400,000 combined. And again, if you bury somebody in the minors, you save more money than that. So Lucic's contract is not one that you can buy out right now. Jamie Benn. I mentioned Jamie Benn because Jamie Benn is a good example of a contract that is also not one you can buy out. Cash bonuses up front. That's the way to go if you want job security. If they bought him out this offseason, and again, I'm just using these as examples, not that they're going to get bought out, it would be $8,833,333 as his cap hit, which would save $666,667, and that's what it would be until 2024-2025. So it doesn't help them, and the penalty from till 2028-2029 would be $333,333, which isn't a ton of money, but still, it's until 2029. So, Jamie Benn, no matter what his stats are this coming season, I would not think that you can buy him out because there's a lot of signing bonus money there. Sergei Bobrovsky. So in Florida, that contract hasn't looked great, right? But if they bought out Bobrovsky, it would be $5.8 million as his cap hit for 2 years, which saves them $4.2 million. But then again, with the way cash bonuses work, $6.8 million for the next 3 years, which saves them $3.2 million. So they actually save $1 million less. And their penalty would be $1.8 million for the 5 years that follow the end of that contract. So I really can't see that contract being a topic of buyout. I could see them maybe trading it, retaining some salary. And again, this doesn't... I mean, if he bombs out, like if Bobrovsky bombs out in Florida, maybe they figure some way out. But I don't think that a buyout would be the way that would work because it just doesn't save enough money. You're still spending way too much cap on a guy who now you've bought out off your team, right? And I wanted to end off with Zach Parise because, of course, he was a topic of conversation last year as potentially being traded to the Islanders. And then, of course, we had the shutdown and the flat cap. And now Parise's contract looks kind of unmovable, or immovable. But it's also not one that you're going to buy out. And here's why. So if they bought it out right now, they would save a lot of money this season. They would have a cap hit of $2,371,794. They would save $5,166,667. However, the cap hit for 2022-2023 goes up to $6,371,794, which means they're only saving $1,166,667. And then that cap hit becomes $7,371,794,000 for 2023-2024 and 2024-2025, meaning they only save $166,667. So you can't buy it out because while yes, you save money right now, you are spending a lot over the following 3 seasons. Then there's a 4-year penalty tacked on after that of $833,333. So yeah, that means that Parise's not Not going to be going anywhere. I can't see him getting traded. This is why, and I'm pretty sure the contract for Ryan Suter is created exactly the same, and you have the same issue. So if Parise and Suter both said, you know what, we'll waive our no movement clauses for the expansion draft, I can't see Seattle taking either player, and it would free up Minnesota to protect more players and not have to worry about losing a key piece. But there you go. Buyouts. That time of year, and it is the most common that I've seen solution to problems that's not as easy as it sounds. Why don't they just buy them out? Because it doesn't always work. You have to remember the cap hit that you're going to have on your team when you buy that player out, and then you have to replace that player. So, yeah, it ends up being an expensive way of doing business. But over the next couple of weeks, some teams are going to give it a shot. So in the comment section below, let me know who you think gets bought out. I do recommend using the cap-friendly tool for the buyout calculator. That's what I used for these figures. The buyout calculator is a lot of fun to mess around with, because very quickly you find out, oh, even if my favorite team wanted to, they can't buy that guy out. So cash bonuses make a big difference, and it feels like there's going to be some pushback from GMs on guys who want both the no movement clause and a big cash bonus, because unless you really have faith in the guy, that could be a contract that ends up seeing you out of town years down the road, and fans are just shaking their fist at the general manager saying, look what you did, you signed this horrible contract. So we'll see over the next few weeks what kind of great and horrible contracts get signed. I'll be here to report on it when it happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.